Hello, welcome to episode 7 of the Zeens and Roger crochet vlog. I'm Rosina. I am here to tell you all about my crochet adventures over the last few weeks. I've got a lot to talk about because I have been away. I haven't filmed an episode for 4 weeks and I'm completely out of practice. So bear with me. I will try not to go off-piste and do silly things. You can find me on Instagram, Ravelry, Pinterest, all the usual social media places. I will link to everything that I talk about below, and you can find more details there. So, how are you? You alright? I'm alright. It's remarkably sunny out there today. We've had day upon day of rain and it's been so depressing because it's June. What's going on? Last week it was half term. We had a couple of acceptable days, but when it's half term you want the sun to shine. Why would you have that week as the most rubbish week for weather when the kids are off and you want to do stuff? Anyway, I didn't film last week because it was half term, and the week before I didn't film because I was in Spain. Had a fabulous time, and if you want to know more about my adventure in Spain, then I have a blog post up on the blog with loads of pictures and stuff. It was hot, and every minute of it was really nice, actually. I've never been to Spain before, and now I can say that I have. It was my sister and we went to a small town called Celeres. Celeres. My Spanish is poo, I'm really sorry. I tried very hard when I was there. I had a few sentences that I'd practiced, mostly asking for beer or the bill, and that was about it. But it was a beautiful place. We flew from Bristol to Malaga, got a hire car. My sister drove because she's better at that sort of thing than me, and she's had practice. And we drove for about an hour and a half that way, east, just below Granada, between Granada and the coast. Lovely place. It is called the Lecrin Valley, which is becoming quite popular, I hear. But yeah, if you want to know more, read about it on my blog post. So that's what I've been up to, and I've also been up to lots of crochet. But before I go into works in progress and finished objects, my first bit of crochet news is exciting for me, and you will have seen last episode that I got very excited about it, even though I wasn't even in that issue. The issue before, I was talking about a little advert, wasn't I? Well, the current issue is now out, and I'm in Inside Crochet magazine. Front cover. I know it's not this grand picture, but I'm on the front cover. It is a blanket that I designed what feels like a very long time ago now. It is a rainbow baby blanket, and it is a C2C number. I came up with this idea, I think possibly as early as October, November last year, and then I started making it right at the end of December, finishing it at some point in January. And I loved making this. It was beautiful. I used Paintbox Aran and the colours are just smashing. As I said, it's a C2C project and it's worked all in one piece, which is very exciting, and a bit of a jumble, but the results are fab. So the pattern is in this issue. It's issue 90 of Inside Crochet magazine. And so I did that back in the winter. And then a few weeks ago, the editor got in touch and said, would I also be interested in writing an accompanying article about the C2C stitch? And so I couldn't say no. So I said yes. And that was in May, so it wasn't that long ago, so it was the beginning of June now. And so I did an article about how you do a C2C and how you do things like increase, decrease and colour changes. I took over 400 photographs for these. I mean, obviously it's not 400 in here, but to get them all right, to get them how I wanted them to be, I was clicking away for ages. I made up a small swatch, just this big. I don't know if you can see actually, just so I could take the photographs from beginning to end, do the process from beginning to end, and write about it. It was really good experience. I really enjoyed it. So there it is. There's my blanket in a sort of a kids' room setting. So if you're interested, check it out. I'm just over the moon. I'm so pleased. It's I don't know what to do. I think I might have to buy a secondary copy because that one's getting a bit well thumbed now. Anyone that comes around, I'm like, look, I'm in a magazine. I mean, it's daft because I have actually been in a magazine before, but this for me is like full on. The very first time was a January issue of that magazine, and they did a little blog interview, and it was wonderful, and that I was excited about that as well, and I couldn't quite believe it at the time. And then that had come about because I'd emailed them and said, would you be interested in my designs, and they bought one of the designs, but I think it sort of did it the other way around, and the design featured in the issue afterwards, but I'd actually done that before the little blog interview. However, this is the first, for me, I don't know why, but this one feels like, I think it's more purposeful. I was actually writing the pattern specifically for this commission, rather than just having sort of made something up and then wondering if they were interested. So it kind of feels like a proper accomplishment, a real achievement, and I'm thrilled. And hopefully that's not the last one ever. There'll be more, so yay me. And if I can do it, if you fancy having a go, you can do it too, honestly. It's just a question of brushing aside your fears and saying, stuff it to self-doubt and just doing it anyway. So, moving on to works in progress. I've got a couple of things to show. And progression is good. It's not just little itty bitty starts. I'm like well in there. I'm not gonna talk about this one because it's the same. Oh no, actually, I will show you what I've done, and that is because I've got such small quantities of yarn left. But I want to use them on this project. I've had to kind of shuffle about where I can use those bits of yarns so that I hopefully get a broad spread of all the colours but don't run out of anything, because I know what I'm like. I'll have a favourite colour and I want to use that time and time again. Not only does it make the blanket heavy in that colour, but it also means that I will swiftly run out of it and then have to use the other colours in the wrong way. So I've had to work out which colour orders I haven't got, so that hopefully they're all unique, and write down missing colour orders. It was a faff. It took ages, but I've done it. I've got 21 more circles to make so that I can join them as I go, and I'm going to do a row across and a row down, and then I'm done. When it's written out like that, it makes it look like there's loads of work to do, but it's only 21 circles. And that shouldn't take that long, but when you see it written out, I've just given myself a job to do. Is it actually going to be a pleasure now? I don't know, but it does mean that I get rid of all that stash, and it does mean that my blanket will be bigger and it will look better, because at the moment it's kind of an in-betweeny size. So let's just see if we can get it as big as we can. So that's that I wasn't going to talk about. And the next one, which was my holiday project, and I did take it to Spain, and I did crochet on the beach, and I took photographs as evidence, because it's all very well saying, yeah, totally going to do crochet when I'm on holiday. Look at this picture I took on holiday, and you haven't really. I did do it, honestly. So this is the Summer Love Bag by Wool and the Gang. And I'm not going to lead you down a false path. I didn't buy it, didn't buy the yarn, didn't buy the pattern. They emailed me and asked me if I would like to try out their new yarn. And so, not wanting to turn down free wool, I said yes. And I'm this far in, and I've lost my hook. I haven't left it in Spain, because I have done a few rows since I got back, but I don't know where it's gone. I had it 2 days ago when I last did a row. So it's probably down in my corner of crochet shame, which is a trash heap of scissors, yarn, crochet magazines, crochet hooks just chucked, balls of wool like that size just strewn. My corner of crochet shame. There's going to be some hooks missing down there somewhere, and it will probably be in there. Anyway, it's coming along quite nicely, but I decided very early on that it was going to be probably really time consuming, and it's all done in single crochet or UK double crochet, and that takes forever to work up. And so I decided, I think I've knocked off 1 inch or 2 of the orange of the bottom, and I'm not going to work much further up here before putting some handles in. I feel really naughty, like I'm breaking some kind of code, that when some company gives you a free pattern, you should do the pattern, you know, do it properly, don't cheat, don't cut corners. However, I haven't got time. I've run out of time. I thought it would whip up really quickly, but when I didn't actually do that much on holiday, I thought I'd finish the whole thing whilst I was away, but you do stuff on holiday, you don't just sit there and crochet. What's the point of going all the way to a different country when you don't go anywhere? So I didn't do as much as I thought. So when I find my crochet hook, I'll finish it off, and I'll just pop the handles in. And I don't actually think it's a horrible size. I think this is pretty nifty. But if I'd carried on, I think it would have been up here somewhere. And yeah, I'm really sorry, but I've run out of time, guys. However, what I can say is that this yarn's fab. And just because I've got the wool free, I could easily say it's rubbish. But it's not, it's lovely. It feels really silky. And it just glides through really nicely. It's kind of got a cool sort of glide as you crochet. And the funny thing about this is that it's made from eucalyptus. Which in the trade, I think they call tencel or lyocell. I don't know which one's which, but it looks like tencel is the trademark. 100% lyocell, made in Turkey. They make a lot of yarn in Turkey. Don't Starcraft make their yarn in Turkey? Anyway, it's all very... The big sell is that it's one of the most sustainable yarns out there, and it's suitable for vegans. I'm not a vegan, not even vegetarian, but if you were, then feel no guilt about using this. If you want to find out more, they've got a website. But no, I'm really enjoying the project. It's just it's slow in that only because I'm rushing myself, and I wanted it to be done super fast and it's not. But that's my issue, not theirs. The pattern is fab. So at risk of repeating myself, I better move on, because otherwise I'm just going to say the same things again and again. Actually, one thing that bugged me, and this is minor, and it says on the instructions, before you start knitting, no, it's crochet. Get it right. But they are, I mean, I think they are yarn, they're knitting focused, Wool and the gang. So it's quite nice that they've got a couple of different crochet patterns actually. That was just one of them, and I did spot another one. So that is whip number 1, and hopefully I'll be finished that soon. Whip number 2 is my Blurre, which is a crochet fade shawl. So you may have seen out and about a lot of find your fade knitted shawls, which is a triangle knitted jobby, and it is gorgeous and it looks huge, and some clever person has come up with a crochet version. However, and I think this is really clever, is that it's actually a completely different shape. It's not triangular at all, which means that it's not just a direct rip-off, which would be a bit cheaty, wouldn't it? This is a whole completely original design, and it's gorgeous. It is, and the clever person that's designed it is, I think she's called Deanne, and she does, is that right, Deanne? Of Addy Day Designs. And now I've discovered Addy Day Designs, it's not fair. There's just, and now I've added about 3 different crochet projects to my list, because there's loads of designs that she's got that are fab. I'll have to restrain myself and just wait a while, because I've got shawls coming out my ears. So onto the Blurre. I'm not doing too badly. I have got one more colour to go. I'm just starting to blend it in now. This is the last colour. And then I can say I'm done. I have been using a mixture of yarns for this. I printed out the pattern and I've lost it somewhere, I think corner of shame. But the pattern I saw originally, Claudia of Crochet Luna had been talking about it, and I commented that I thought it was a really lovely design, and what you could see, it was gorgeous, and I went out and I went straight to Ravelry and I checked it out, and I was like, yeah, I really like that, and I said to Claudia, oh, isn't that gorgeous? I can't wait to see what it looks like, or something similar. Lo and behold, a couple of days later, in my Ravelry inbox, she'd bought me the pattern and sent it to me as a birthday present. Thank you, Claudia. Oh my god, nobody's ever done anything like that for me before. Thank you. I was just like, oh! So I was honestly so excited to get this pattern. I was well chuffed, and yeah, immediately had to make it. The problem was that I was working on a project, and that project had the yarn I wanted for this, and so I had to finish that shawl before I could start on this, and oh god, I was so impatient, honestly. And that kind of brings me on to the summer romance crochet along that Claudia of Crochet Luna is doing with Elizabeth of Crochet Cakes. Because last episode I was talking about a shawl I was making at the time, and I was going to submit that. I'd started way early, ridiculously early. So as I was talking about it, I'd reached the halfway mark already, and I'd contacted Elizabeth and said, I think I've been a bit keen and I've started too soon. And she said that it was okay to submit it still if I was halfway or less. And in good conscience, I wasn't. I'd gone over halfway already. This was my halfway, and I think as I was talking about it a month ago, I was about here somewhere. And I could have put it down, and I did say I would put it down and then start again for June. But I couldn't, because I needed this colour yarn for this. And so I made the decision that this was not going to be in my summer romance cowl, or I wasn't going to be my submission for that, and I'd better start it off. So actually, this is jumping the gun, a finished object. I'll talk about it in a minute. There. Going back to the Blurre, this is now going to be my summer romance cowl, SR cowl submission, because I was under halfway when that kicked off a couple of days ago. But I don't know where I was. I was probably about here somewhere the other day, and I've done that over the last couple of nights. The yarn for that, obviously I finished that off to get the leftovers. And then I also knew that I wanted to use my Amsterdam yarn, so I've got two undercover otter jobs, which is Squirm Sock undercover otter, which is 80% merino, 20% nylon, and it's a super wash 4-ply. This one's called Dark Skies, and I think, I can't remember, in memory, Arrakis or something like that, and I can't remember because I don't have the label. Oh yeah, Arrakis, yeah, I do have the label. It was quite expensive, but it was my posh Amsterdam souvenir from when I went there in March. And I knew I wanted to use that, I knew I wanted to use the yellow, but I didn't have any other colours to go with. I happened to sling it, rather inelegant. I happened to place my little bundle of yarns on the floor, and as I was looking at it, I had an idea, and I went and fetched a cowl that I'd made from wool, the Wool Kitchen's Nebula colour. That's the Wool Kitchen. And I placed my cowl that I'd made out of an Aran version of this next to it, and I was like, that goes really well. And so I broke a yarn band that I placed myself on because I don't need any more. It was leftover birthday money. Everything's like, yes, birthday money. I haven't got any birthday money left. So I can't buy any more, okay? And then I went on a massive Etsy trawl trying to find something that would fit with this colour scheme. So did I mention that's actually a 4-ply. This Nebula is a 4-ply. 80% superwash blue-faced Leicester, 20% bamboo, 4-ply. This is, yeah, I said that was a 4-ply, didn't I? This is also a 4-ply. Who did I buy it from? Well, as I said, trawled Etsy looking for a colourway that would go well, and I know I've got it, I had it in my head, I knew kind of the thing I wanted, and I didn't find exactly I didn't find the exact colour combo, but I think this one, it does the job. It looks quite nice, and I'm wondering, shall I not finish with this at the end? So you can't really tell, can you? Shall I not end with the dark blue, as I could? I could make that the last colour, or I could go back and just do a few rows with that on the end and have 6 colours. So I start and finish same. Because what else am I going to do with this? I don't know. The cat flap's gone. I don't know if it's my cat or naughty cat. Oh, I think it's my cat. Oh no. She's got a bird. I'm going to have to stop, really sorry. Oh my goodness. My heart's going. That little terror. She brought in a baby blue tit. A beautiful blue tit. I have rescued it. I rescued it out of the jaws of a tiger. It was trembling. I hope it doesn't die of shock, but it is unharmed, thankfully. Marcy's got a feather stuck out of her lips. It flew. I took it out into the garden, and I sat it on my hand like this. I was like, I'm so sorry. She's such a horrible cat. Sorry. And it flew. It just went for it, and it's flown off into the trees. So thankfully, it wasn't. It didn't look hurt. I think it's lost a few feathers, but wow, I don't know what to do now. Oh my goodness. That's what happens when you own a cat, isn't it? Usually it's mice. And when I was away, apparently it was slow worms. She had a week of bringing in slow worms for Daddy, and cripes. Actually, I haven't washed my hands. That's gross. I've just put blue tick cooties all over my face, haven't I? Yeah, be alright. So sorry, where was I? I was talking about this is, and I also, when I bought that, I also couldn't help myself and bought this lovely rainbow mini. The dyer is Jude. It's made by Jude, and you can find Made by Jude on Etsy or Facebook. 75% superwash merino. It says 75% nylon as well, but I'm sure she's 25%. Kettle dyed. Don't know what that means. I'll look into that in a minute. It's called Neon Rainbow Sprinkle, this colour, and I think this, I don't have the label. I don't know where it's gone. Have I got the label somewhere? No, but I think it was called something like Paint Pot Accident or Dye Pot Accident or something. But it had the neon I wanted in it. It's got blues and greens that I wanted, and I thought, do you know what? I think that'll work quite well. And it blends in with the neon yellow quite well, so that I can then blend on with the Wool Kitchen Nebula stuff, which has also got the neon flecks. I love my Blurre. So thank you, Claudia, so much. I love it. But I did have to spend £1 million to get the yarn, but I love it. I'll be finished soon, but it is eligible for that cow, and I'll probably submit it into. I keep saying I'll do the Keep Caron yarn, cal, but I haven't actually done the Ravelry thing yet, and I haven't done the Ravelry thing for this one yet either. But I will. So that's that work in progress. My other work in progress is I've not really started yet, but it's that one, the Cleck Heaton granny jumper. But the only thing I've done is my swatch, and I've lost the crochet hook with this one as well. So I'm missing 2 crochet hooks, and I don't know where this one has gone at all, whether or not it's down there. I haven't seen it. I don't think I've used it since I did this, and this is pre-holiday work. But it's my swatch, and I think I'm on target. So that's good. A photograph I took of it for Instagram shows that I used a 4.5. But I don't know why I used a 4.5, because it says to use a 5 and I'm confused. For the tension square you use a 5mm. So why in the photograph have I used a 4.5? And did I swap it over because it was a green hook and that looked better than the pink 5 I've got? Would I be that daft just for pleasing aesthetics? Why would I have used a 4.5 when it calls for a 5? I've forgotten. So I might re-swatch. I'll redo my swatch and see how I go, and work it up. But I'm not ready to make this jumper yet. I wish I was, because I think it's going to be a good one. But hopefully in a few weeks' time I'll be on that, ready to make a start. So those are my whip-de-doo-dahs, and you've just seen this finished object. It is a design I came up with just after I came back from Edinburgh, actually, and I designed it specifically for these colours, which were part of my Edinburgh Yarn Festival haul. The yarn, I'm really sorry if you can hear my tummy rumble, I'm really hungry and it's lunchtime soon. The yarn is Dandelion Yarns, and this is called Dandelion Rosy Sport. It's 100% organic merino, extra fine, machine washable. And actually, that's interesting. Going back to the Blurre, this is sport mixed with like a really fine 4-ply, mixed with a bit of a fatter 4-ply, and it's fine. All of those mixture of weights, it's still fine. So yeah, I found these colours, and I didn't need the yarn. I wanted it and I bought it because I was all excited in Edinburgh. But to justify the fact that I'd bought them, I thought I'd better make something with it sharpish, and so I came up with quite a simple design. You start at one end and then you just go all the way to the other. It's really long. I think I got a bit carried away. Now as you wrap it around, I realised that all my yellowy bits are on that side and all my blue bits are on that side. It would have been nice to have a bit of both, and I should have sort of accounted for that, really. And I don't know if I can say, oh yeah, well, I can't now say it's deliberate, but whether or not actually my error is a good one to make or not. Whatever, I really like it. I think it's quite me, actually. It's sort of, I'm not a frou-frou sort of pink fluffy girl. I like stuff like this more. It's yeah, these bits are long. I probably could have gotten away with sort of a few rows less, and what I had noticed I was showing it in episode 6, what I had done as I was crocheting, as I was changing colour, as I went just crocheting over the ends, but they were really obvious, and so I unpicked them all and was more careful about where I sewed them, because it just looked, they jumped out a mile, and so I've had to be a bit more careful where I've sewn my ends. You can see it, I don't know, yeah, it's a little bit bumpy, and I don't know if I missed any. But yeah, they all got picked out and redone, and it looks much better now. And I blocked it, and it's got a nice drape to it. And so I guess I should write it up. Write up the bit. It's very simple, and I sort of end up in these dilemmas about, I've given away loads of patterns for free before because I'm like, well, they're dead simple. Why would I charge money for something that is so easy? But then on the other side, you have to sort of go, well, work still goes into them. And so I kind of need to find the line where a pattern is free and where I start charging, and can I sort of justify charging a small fee for such a simple looking design. However, when you break it down and you think about the colour changes and working out the weights of all the yarns you've used and how you go about blocking it, and how you go about sort of increases and decreases, a lot of work goes into even simple patterns. My next finished object is a beach bag. This beach bag is made out of Caron Cakes. I have spotted this yarn. I had spotted this yarn and I wanted to try it. And I've noticed that lots of brands have started to do their own versions of Caron Cakes, and it's the self-colouring yarn so that you can work all your projects in nice stripes without having to do any colour changes whatsoever. It does it all for you. At the beginning of April, I was approached by Hobbycraft, and they asked me would I be interested in designing them a pattern, and would I design a pattern around the theme of summer, because that's when they wanted to publish it. I said yes, obviously, and because of summer, I thought beach bag. It is made out of acrylic and wool. In an ideal world it would have been cotton, but because I wanted to try the Caron Cakes, it's 20% acrylic, 80% acrylic, 20% wool. It's a very simple design. I just worked up a granny circle and then went up. Yeah, it fits loads in. I was going to take it to Spain with me, but it wouldn't fit in my suitcase. I only had a very small suitcase because I wanted to take it on to the plane rather than have it in the hold. So I wanted it to be in the locker. So I didn't take it to Spain with me. However, if I went on a big holiday, then I totally would take it. It's a really good beach bag. This one is Rainbow Sherbet, and I was given 3 cakes and I used a total of 2. So this one is going spare. I am thinking about doing a giveaway. Well, actually I'm not thinking about it, I have decided to do a giveaway. And what I would like to do is ask you to subscribe and comment below, and then I will put names in a hat and pick out a winner, and that winner gets this. I will also open a thread on Ravelry, and for an additional entry, if you come and join me on my Ravelry Zeens and Roger page, I will open up a thread, and in that thread if you could comment about what you want to make. If you had a ball of this, tell me what you would make with it, and then that'll be an additional entry, and I'll put that in the hat as well, and you'll be able to chance to win it, because I'm not going to use it for anything, I don't think. So yeah, do that and you could get one of these. Interestingly, when they arrived, they all started with different colour in the centre. Oh, for God's sake. If it's not Blurre, it's him next door doing his lawn, and now an ice cream van. I cannot win today. Anyway, what I noticed was that they all start with a different colour in the centre, so they don't all start with pink and then work out to yellow, blue, la-di-da. Another one will start with the green in the centre and work out, or blue. And so what I did, before I started making my bag, I unwound the inside colour and I unwound the outside colour of the two balls I was using, and I put them to one side knowing that I wanted to make the handles and the pom-poms out of them. That way I would have... and now somebody delivering a leaflet. What's going on? It's bedlam round here. Goodness sake. That way I had all the colours and not just 2 or maybe 3 at a push to do all my details with, and it worked a treat. I don't know if you can see, you might notice, but I made a bit of an error. It was late at night when I did the handles and the pom-poms, and I hadn't noticed. I don't know why it was like this in the first place, but it's inside out. The right side of my granny is this, and for some reason, and I don't know what the reason is, it's a mystery why it ended up inside out when I went to do the sleeves, straps. The only thing I can think of is that I'd just sewn in the ends and I was working in from that way, and I hadn't turned it right around again. I don't think it's an issue, but I'm kicking myself about it. It means it's not perfect, and that makes me cross. But never mind. My pom-poms are made with this. That's my pom-pom maker. I don't actually have a real one. So I just cut out a piece of card that looks like that, and then I wrap yarn around it like that, loads and loads and loads. And then I'll just pick this up off the floor. It would be longer, obviously, in an ideal world. And you poke it through there, and you poke it through there, and you tie it all in a knot in there. And then you just snip there, and you snip there, and you've got yourself a pom-pom. So you don't need to buy a fancy plastic thing at all. So that's how you do pom-poms. That's how I did these big pom-poms anyway. Well, that's how I did the pom-poms. Yeah. So I'm just looking at a pile of notes because I'm filming this section again. I don't know if I've already said that. Have I said that? Beginning of this section? I was viewing the footage and I was blurry to the max because when I had the cat drama I came back and I knocked the camera out of focus, and you will see that some of it still is out of focus, but I can only film so much again because the kids are off now. It's 4 hours later, and that's why I am hesitating and umming a lot more than perhaps I am in the other sections. So I won't be long, and I'll edit into from earlier today. Sorry. Speaking of Hobbycraft and Knit Craft HQ, their Instagram name, I went to the post office this morning and picked up a parcel, and it was from them. The Caron Cakes yarn, I didn't feel like I could just give it away just because I thought it was alright. I emailed them and said, can I do a giveaway with this yarn? And they said, of course you can, of course. And by the way, now that we've got you, would you be interested in trying out a different yarn? Yes, please. So this morning I opened up a parcel expecting just a couple of balls of some yarn. I have got, oh my god, I didn't even think about it when I picked up the parcel. It wasn't until I opened it and saw, hang on, are you ready? Oh my God, it's ridiculous. How many is this? Wow. I was only going to make a scarf. It's Fildar. It's a French yarn company, isn't it, Fildar? This is called Fil Flocon. It's 42% acrylic, 26% wool, 18% alpaca and 14% polyamide. And it is quite a fluffy yarn. Not sort of, I mean, I've worked with mohair before and it's sort of got a bit more of a twist than the other stuff I've used before. But I've noticed that it's coming back. Fluffy yarns. It's starting. And I'll tell you what I'll do. Shall I do no. I might do, depending on the project I make, what I'll do is I'll do a giveaway with any balls that I haven't used with this as well. So I won't do it this time around because let's just say that the Caron Cakes is the giveaway for this time. But next time, when I finish my project and whatnot, we'll see how much I've got left. And that'll be my next giveaway, so you can have a play with this as well. But I had this, when they'd asked me, I left it a couple of days thinking about which yarn I would choose, because they said I could pick any of the Fildar range to work with, and they've got a lot of sparkly lurexy things as well. And I was tempted to try that and maybe make, I don't know, crazy bag, or even go a bit bonkers and make a vest, which, you know, tank top type thing, out of some sparkly yarn. But I thought, you know, I'd never ever wear that in a million years, so I went with what I consider something that would be definitely wearable. And so I chose this. I can't remember what my point was now, but oh yeah, I left it a couple of days thinking about which one I would choose, because I had options, and then one morning I woke up and it was already in my head. An idea was in my head, and I was so glad that I wasn't hasty and just plumped for whatever one. And what I want to do is make a ginormous cowl out of it, and have, I mean, initially I thought grey and pink would look really nice, and they're more my colours, but they'd run out. Didn't have any grey or pink left, so I've got this pale teal and cream. But I'm definitely gonna need that many, and I don't know if I'll need that many, but we'll see. There's definitely, I believe I'll have at least 2 balls spare. So watch this space. I'm really looking forward to that actually. It sort of looks like, they look like little animals. These are my pet balls of wool. They're like sat on the sofa. I don't know, they kind of look like a rolled up bunny, sleeping bunny. I don't know why I said that. So we're nearly there, nearly at the end. I just wanted to mention that this month I am hosting a hashtag on Instagram. It's crafting is my therapy, and I'm sure it's relatively self-explanatory. I'll leave my blog post about it so you can read the details, but it was set up by Nicola, who is Me, You and Magoo on Instagram, and she has a blog as well. She's Pouch Vintage on Twitter and is really into sort of 70s vintage stuff. And I think she's also really into mental health and looking after ourselves and whatnot. So along with her friend Jennifer from Jennifer's Little World, they came up with this hashtag. So I'm co-hosting for June. So if you are making some crafty stuff, doesn't have to be crochet or knitting, it can be any craft at all, and it doesn't have to be finished. It can just be your work in progress. Then use the hashtag crafting is my therapy _June, and I'll find it, and I'm sharing a lot of the things that people are making. So do check that out, because it's a really good thing. And yeah. And lastly, I wanted to just mention about other vlogs and podcasts, because I know in one of the other episodes I did happen to mention a few others that I was watching, but I watch probably more now than ever actually. It seems to be getting really popular. There's loads of us now. It's just like, it's crazy. So first up is Faye. It's because I know somebody called Kay. Faye from the Crochet Circle podcast. I feel really bad now. Especially because she has sent me all her back issues of Empire magazine to read. Not all of them, like six months worth, which I wasn't expecting at all. It's because I did 20 things about me fact thing on IG, and one of them was I used to be really into movies, and I used to subscribe to Empire magazine, but I had to stop because I couldn't afford the subscription, and also I didn't get to go to the cinema anymore because I had kids. And so and for a good long time, like 5 or 6 years, I worked at a cinema, so I got to watch shed loads of movies. But that all went out the window when I had babies. So Faye felt sorry for me. I'm really sorry. Oh God. Faye felt really sorry for me, I think, and has sent me her Empire magazines. That's so bad. Can I edit all of that out? I feel really bad now. Sorry. And also the fact that, I mean, her podcast is fab anyway. It's not like mine where I just ramble about the stuff I've made. It's really informative. It's got a load of just background information about crochet, how a technique is done, and the quality of yarns, and how you would use them, and what projects they're best suited to. Which actually, Faye, I've got something for you. I was going to talk about it. I haven't actually physically. I wanted to talk about my swatch, because I've discovered a great way of doing the, instead of chaining 3 to reach the height for the next row, you don't do that. Where's my swatch? I don't know, it's a free pattern, so I don't feel too bad about revealing this. So I've completely gone off on one now, haven't I? Gone from talking about all the podcasts I was going to do. But it's because I was going to do this, right? So for this pattern, instead of chaining 3 as you would to reach the height, you get to the end of your row and you turn, no chain, and you just go and do a UK double crochet into the first stitch with a bit of height on it, and then chain 1. And then you've got your height. And it looks a darn sight better than chain 3. So I wanted to tell you that, and I thought about you when I saw it, because I know you're into like your tips and tricks, as am I, because I actually wrote a blog post about it a while ago. Not about this one, because I've only just discovered it, but about other tips and tricks that I'd found. And I've linked that in Ravelry. You'll see it in a tips and tricks thread that I hastily whacked up this morning. So yeah, I think that's marvellous, and it does look much better. I don't know if you can see, you probably can't see without me going close up, and I won't be able to zoom on this, but it's a nice straight edge, doesn't sort of buckle out. A chain 3 can look a bit ugly, can't it? So yeah, I thought that was a really good one. A good tip. So yeah, well, you saw me do it the first time, I'm not doing it. This isn't a tutorial. So yeah, there's that. So yes, I've written it on my notes as well. Terrible. The Crochet Circle podcast. It's a proper one. It's informative, and I like the way it works. That was a dweeby thing to say. I've messed up now, that's why I feel silly. I can't think, well, yeah, and I mentioned, didn't I, Crochet Luna? Also very informative and not just rambling about stuff like me. Has interesting things to say about crochet. Next time I will come up with a better small list of some crochet vlogs, because I was just going to reel them off and I've forgotten now. Now that the pressure of the camera is on, I've forgotten who I was going to recommend, so I'm really sorry. But you know who you are. If I comment and I talk to you, then you know that I think you're great. But next, yeah, as I say, next time I'll have a list. But my recommendation for this week is the Crochet Circle podcast, even if I can't get your name right, it's alright. And thanks for the Daredevil recommendation. Like it. I was going to say something about that as well. What was I going to say about Daredevil? I don't know. But it's, oh yeah, just you spend a whole episode going, who is that? I know that face. Who is he? And then you go, oh, it's Thingy from Stardust. And then my husband's like, oh, the bad guy. I know who the bad guy is. He's in the Punisher. I was like, what's the Punisher? And he's like, no. Anyway, as you can see, I've lost the plot. So I'm going to go. Thank you ever so much for watching, if you've made it this far. And I'll see you next time. Don't forget to thumbs up. No thumbs down, please. No. If you've made it this far, you're not going to give me a thumbs down, are you? Crikey, that would be mean. So subscribe, don't forget to enter the giveaway, and I'll see you next time. Thank you ever so much. Great to be back. Cheerio, bye bye.